Dear Guru Maharaj, please accept our humble obeisances. Thank you for being here yesterday and today. Today Vyasa Puja will be a little longer. Some devotees volunteered to make offerings, and we will not turn on the sound for everyone. So we will start offering offerings first part of offerings. And now I would like
to explain what you meant, that you won't turn on the sound for everyone. Does that mean that I'm going to just watch them and not listen to them? Is that what you're saying?
No, I meant that we will not make, as yesterday, chanting Hare Krishna mantra all together. This. So we will turn on the sound for each devotee. So I would like to invite Mataji Anandini to make her offering.
Dear Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. I'm sorry, it's always my problem. I have to cry in front of you. All right, so all glories to your divine appearance on this planet Earth. My life has changed a lot since the world has come to a standstill because of the COVID. Normally, I was very busy with organizing events and teaching yoga classes. But since the first lockdown, I'm not organizing events anymore. And I'm teaching yoga classes online. So this has been a challenge for me since I felt I'm not properly engaged anymore in Christian service. Oh God, sorry, Guru Maharaj, it's terrible. You know me, I'm always crying in front of you. I have to relax a little bit, sorry. But ultimately, it has given me another opportunity for growth. I've more time to chant my rounds in the mornings. Otherwise, I had to do it during the day. And so I'm also able to read more Srila Prabhupada's books more often than before. So that's the advantage. And also your conferences, they are a shelter for me. So your deeper realizations about the journey of Gopakumar are very insightful. And so there's actually nothing in this world that has any value. We cannot trust this material world, and at every step there is a danger, and life is a struggle for existence. And so to get relief from this miserable existence is listening to your revealing and enlivening conferences and to your heartfelt singing. And so Krishna has kindly arranged it for us to have your association more than before. So through your almost daily lectures, and the journey of Gopakumar is a journey that gives me a lot of hope, because Krishna is so mercifully guiding him gradually towards his innermost desire to join him in Goloka Vrindavan. And Gopakumar shows us the example of how to be focused on our goal. And so I have my inner struggles and my distractions and attachments, and not much taste for the holy name. And the material energy is very strong, and I'm easily swept away by it. And then again, I struggle back to reconnect with Krishna's energy. So I'm going back and forward between the two, but as the marginal energy of the Lord, I'm choosing sometimes for Maya and sometimes for Krishna. But fortunately, I can take shelter of your divine lotus feet again and again, since you are so merciful and patient with me. You are engaged in devotional service uninterruptedly, without deviation and distractions. And so I pray one day that also I can be engaged full time in devotional service and choose only for Krishna at every moment, and follow in your footsteps. So aspiring to be your humble servant, Anandini Devi. Hi Krishna, Guru Maharaj. I managed to.
Thank you, Mother Anandini, and Guru Maharaj Vaisesika Prabhu sent his congratulation. It was unexpectedly. Actually, we didn't even approach him, but somehow he learned about this and he sent a video.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, thank you very much for inviting me to this most auspicious occasion, event, the appearance of His Holiness Srila Niranjana Swami. I offer my respectful obeisances to Srila Prabhupada, to His Holiness Niranjana Swami, to all the devotees who are present here today, and to everyone who listens to this later. Our movement has spread around the world because Srila Prabhupada took responsibility. In a 1967 conversation, one can hear Srila Prabhupada speaking to a guest, saying that his home is in Vrindavan, that Vrindavan is where he is happy, but that he has come to New York City because it is his duty to follow the order of his spiritual master. Not the least of Srila Prabhupada's hardships was taking responsibility for those who took shelter of him. As he did, and as ISKCON grew, so did the responsibilities. Dozens of letters each month listing problems that could not be solved without Srila Prabhupada's decision and judgment. In a similar way, His Holiness Niranjana Swami, though a soft-hearted Vaishnava, a scholar, and a perfect gentleman, has taken responsibility for thousands of devotees with a multiple of issues and special needs. An ordinary person would break in half by the pressure of doing such service. But Maharaj is not an ordinary person. He is an exalted Vaishnav who lives to please his guru, Srila Prabhupada. Recently, when Maharaj stopped over in Japan, the devotees there asked him to give a talk about devotee care. How do we set up a devotee care system so that no one will be left behind? They asked him. Maharaj sat down and gave his talk. He started by saying, there are many different elaborate systems that one can implement to take care of devotees, but none of them work unless one actually cares about devotees. This statement epitomizes Maharaj's penchant for finding the essence in devotional service. It also reveals his heart, which is fixed on serving Vaishnavas. Many years ago, I asked Maharaj what it was like to take care of so many devotees. Feeling himself to be deficient, he replied that he was always praying to Krishna that he could develop the same mood and insight that Narada Muni has into the hearts of all he meets, so that he might render them better service. Maharaj, you are a spiritual giant. Your every step in this world is for pure devotional service. Your words are reserved for glorifying Krishna and encouraging others to glorify him too. On this glorious day of your appearance, I offer you my obeisances thousands of times, hoping always for your association in this life and the next. Thank you very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Srila Niranjana Swami Maharaj, and all glories to all of his assistants, followers, disciples, and friends everywhere in the universe. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Thank you to Vaisesika Prabhu. And now we would like to ask Mataji Krsna-kund to make her offering.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, dear Vaishnavas. Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. My dear God brothers, God sisters, and others who appreciate Shri Anandini Maharaj. Dear Guru Maharaj.
Mataji Krsna-kund, sound is quite low. I'm sorry, we can hardly hear you. Maybe you can try to improve your mic, improve your sound.
Yes, maybe I should just speak more clearly.
Yes, yes, please. Maybe you could speak more louder.
Right. Hare Krishna, dear Guru Maharaj, dear God sisters, God brothers, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. He gave us everything. I am here today because my dear God sisters wouldn't take no for an answer and gently told me that this is my service to try to say a few words to our Gurudev on this day. So I would like to first express my really deep gratitude to all the devotees who organized this program. For me, it's been amazing because I don't even know all our God brothers and God sisters, and it's such an opportunity to hear from you personally, to see your face, to see your emotions as you are making your offerings to our Guru Maharaj. It's been very inspiring and enlivening, and I'm very grateful that I have such wonderful Vaishnavas, Vaishnavis to encourage me in my service to you, Guru Maharaj. So I would like to also just say a few words about this amazing year, which I didn't write in the offering that I sent into the Vyasa.
Something happened with the sound that now we cannot hear you, Mataji. Just now something happened, like no, we cannot hear you. It looked like your mic suddenly it disappeared.
She's muted.
Oh, No, we cannot hear you.
No,
She's unmuted.
I am not muted.
Oh.
I am speaking quite loud.
Yes, now sound came again. Please continue.
Should I switch off the video? Maybe the internet here? Let me know when it's not possible.
Okay, we can hear you.
Okay, it's okay then. So Guru Maharaj, I specifically wanted to thank you and thank Krishna for this amazing chance to put us here in Sri Mayapur Dham, not so far physically from you during this lockdown period. Because although there were some periods when I didn't get to even see you for a month or two, still this has been my only period in my life when I regularly go to do some service for you, a little bit Vapu Seva, and I got to see you from time to time. And of course, during Kartik, I got to hear you sing Damodar Ashtaka and make your offering to Shri Shri Radha Damodar every day. That was amazing. And yeah, it's just something very, very, very special that I will always treasure. And especially because, of course, you know that Sanatana Goswami explains in Hari Bhakti Vilas that the Shakti of devotion comes from the heart of the devotee, even if you don't even get to speak to them, but you are just nearby. So I really felt your presence all along here. And the biggest thing that happened this year for me was just as you spoke about Gopakumar. The biggest thing that happened to me was maybe to try to see you, and I feel that you kind of revealed yourself just a little bit more here than what I've seen from you before. Of course, I'm so far away from you in the ultimate sense, but still there is a big difference between seeing you with 10,000 devotees at the Bhakti Sangama festival and seeing you here with a few devotees when you sing, or when we can give you some prasadam, or maybe when you speak to my husband, which is very good fortune for me that I can, on some rare occasions, and I get to hear you speaking with him. That's very amazing and nourishing for me. Because just as Gopakumar, he was in Vaikuntha, and you were specifically speaking about this point, that he saw Vaikuntanath, and he could even see Madan Gopal. Lord Vaikuntanath manifested that form of Madan Gopal to him. But at the same time, the intimacy of the exchange was different. So similarly, there is just a difference between seeing you at a big program and seeing you in a personal way like that. So I'm very indebted, and thank you so much, really. Thank you so much for making yourself so accessible during this very special time, although I feel that I didn't properly manage to make the most of this opportunity, but it's been very, very special to me. I also wanted to read my offering to you that I wrote. I offer my heartfelt pranams at your feet, Guru Maharaj. All glories to you and to your appearance in the lives that you have touched. All glories to your Srila Prabhupada and to all the devotees of Shri Shri Gaura Nityananda. This year has been amazing. Though you announced last January that you would suspend traveling, and though you were in a lockdown for months, you still ended up taking us on quite a journey after all. From coaching us in the right mood to call out for Krishna from this planet, to go on to all different spheres of existence, accompanying Gopakumar to Mahakalapur, to the gates of Vaikuntha, into the very presence of Lord Narayan, and onto Bama Vrindavan for further training on his Odyssey that eventually took him into his Madan Gopal's loving embrace in Nanda Maharaj's village in Goloka. While the hero of the epic journey described by Srila Sanatana Goswami was still in Vaikuntha, Lord Narayan described the eagerness he had while waiting for Gopakumar with the following astonishing words. Asmin, Asmin, ihe haiva. For so long, hope had me dancing like a fool, thinking perhaps in this lifetime, or in this, or this, or this, he will finally turn his face towards me. Lord Vaikuntanath's anxious endeavor to bring his servant to his own association was intoxicating. His potent words maddened Gopakumar to the point that he was unable to offer him praise or to understand or do anything. Writing you at this time every year is a little bit similar every year. That is kind of intoxicating to have you in our life, and I don't know what to say even. But I usually try to think about the treasures I've gotten from you from the previous 12 months. On this occasion, though, I am baffled, and there are so many thoughts and realizations really, and some directions that you shared with us, and so many of the things that you spoke about this year just resonated very deeply. I became addicted to the nourishment from your regular talks that you steadily inundated us with ever since March. What spilled out from your overflow of hearing and chanting has been out of this world, literally. The way you spoke, the mood, the topics, the faith-giving words of one whose compelling force is purity of motive and taste and realization. So I really felt that I will not be able to praise your gifts suitably, and I cannot even say I fully understand how valuable what I am receiving is. But when Gopakumar was unable to say anything in glorification, he simply played his flute for Lord Madhava's pleasure with some other flute players. So at this time, when I'm feeling unable to nicely glorify you, I would like to simply write down some thoughts along a few of your own words that stayed with me the most. Your short daily online talks before japa sessions with you in the spring were primal, seeking shelter from the encroaching madness, as if Atma Krandana, the genuine crying of the soul, had become embodied in the shape of Krishna Katha. Each day, your messages, which were often based on what you heard just that day, just yesterday, during your listening time from Srila Prabhupada, it really hit us with elementary force. At that stage of the pandemics, it somewhat felt like it was a crash course to show the way of perfection for all persons, and especially for those who are about to die. Preparing our consciousness to the point where we do not try to negotiate with Krishna. We simply do our best and place our full trust in him. In your words, the Lord is captivated by the devotee's mood of humility and his willingness to accept the Lord's decision on his future. That's what captures Krishna's heart. As you said, Guru Maharaj, the Lord of the heart is just looking for opportunities to take us to him. When you resumed after some break in May, your classes in the summer, you talked a few times about Brihad Bhagavatamrita being the evidence that the Lord is waiting for us to come. And even yesterday, what you spoke about, putting the mission over the movement, that's exactly the same point. I'm very grateful to you for speaking with your own commentaries a lot of the time on Brihad Bhagavatamrita and on this topic specifically. One of the most important gifts you gave me this year is a ray of hope, a deeper level of growing faith and conviction in areas where to some degree there was lip service to faith, learned theoretically only from books and devotees before. Faith that the inconceivable is actually possible, that the highest love that Lord Chaitanya came to give is obtainable, not by my qualification, but only ultimately by his mercy. And not because I want to go to a particular highest place, but because that spontaneous love is the most pleasing to Shri Shri Radha Madhav. And we want to learn to offer them what pleases them the most. I would also like to thank you for repeatedly pushing me this year towards hearing as my main service right now. Just become Chataka birds, you said. Continue hearing and chanting down with absorption, meditation, in ecstatic love, in meditation on the Lord, with the desire to please him. In all the relationships that one has with Krishna, devotees are addicted to chanting the holy names of Krishna. Whether one is Krishna's friend, parent, lover, they are all chanting Krishna's names, both in viraha and in separation. You said and in sangha. And what happens when the devotees are feeling separation? Krishna's names act as a bridge to bring together the devotees and Krishna. I pray that I can please you by eternally trying to cultivate this aspiration in the heart and putting my hope in Srila Prabhupada's promise. As the moon increases in the sky daily, and as one day it becomes a full moon, so this process is so nice that increasing daily by chanting, one day it will come that you will simply love Krishna and forget everything. They do not know that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is Vrindavan Lila. The cowherd boys, they simply love Krishna. Their love is unending. Everyone in Vrindavan, just like Yasoda Mata and Nanda Maharaj, they are in paternal protection with Krishna. So the father and mother love Krishna. The friends love Krishna. The girlfriend, they love Krishna. The trees love Krishna. The water loves Krishna. The flower, the calves, everyone loves Krishna. That is Vrindavan. So if we simply learn how to love Krishna, then we can create immediately this world as Vrindavan. Immediately. This is the only central point. How to love Krishna. Thank you very much. Your humble servant, trying to be humble.
Thank you, Mataji Krsna-kund. And now Sankarsana Nitay will make his offering. And After that, Ratnavatidevi dasi. Dear Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. I wouldn't dare to make offering because my realizations are very neophyte in the presence of so many senior devotees. But somehow this year, because of passing of Nitai Chaitanya Maharaj, I wanted to glorify him. And actually, first time I came to the devotees program, it was in 1997 when you came to Kursk with Nitai Chaitanya Maharaj. And somehow after that, my life is so intertwined with his life and your life. So I wrote this offering and I would like to present it. Дорогой Гуру Махарадж, примите, пожалуйста, мои смиренные поклоны.
Dear Guru Maharaja, please accept my humble obeisances. Glories to Srila Prabhupada. I would like to express my deep gratitude to you for your love to Srila Prabhupada and support lucky souls on the path to Krishna. I'm so glad that I have found myself among these lucky souls. In this offering, I want to glorify Nitai Chaitanya Maharaj. He had revealed your personality to me. He acquainted me with you and had shown an example of love and service. His example of being a disciple amazes and captivates me. I hope this glorification will make you happy. In Srimad Bhagavatam 3 to 8 Uddhava says, the universe, with all its planets, is most unfortunate. And even more unfortunate are the members of the Yadu dynasty because they could not identify Lord Hari as the personality of Godhead any more than the fish could identify the moon. In his commentary, Srila Prabhupada explains, foolish persons might have thought him as an extraordinary historic figure because they had no intimate touch with the Lord, but more unfortunate were the family members of the Lord, the members of the Yadu dynasty, who were always in company with the Lord, but were unable to recognize him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Why do we not appreciate opportunities that the Lord gives us and feel pity when we lose them? I remember particularly this verse after the disappearance of Nitai Chaitanya Maharaj. 10 years of my life have passed in active devotional service under his guidance and in close proximity to him. Looking back, I understand that these years were the happiest in my life. Though I tried to give myself at 100%, I still regret about the lost opportunities of association with him. In this offering, I would like to glorify Maharaj by telling about one of his excellent qualities, his attitude towards you. It could seem sentimental if it lasted a year or two. It happens to junior devotees. They admire someone, but later it passes away. However, for almost 30 years, Maharaj's feelings and attitude to you remain stable. He admired your words, your intonations, thoughts that manifested in your lectures, kirtans, deeds. He loved you sincerely and wanted to pass away before you. That was his desire, Nitai Chaitanya Maharaj's. Not once he told me that you do everything perfectly, just as you must. Maharaja did not miss the opportunity to associate with you, even if he had to go hundreds of kilometers for that. Sometimes he noticed some sentence in your lecture and then uncovered its depth that I could not even have suspected. The last year we sometimes called each other, and he said something like, "What a cool lecture was today," and I understood that he was a japa session and he listened to your lecture. We discussed the lecture briefly and felt that we were happy with each other. And I understood Maharaj took part in many of your japa sessions. And even now, sometimes after a lecture, I involuntarily think that if Maharaja were with us, I would phone him and we could admire the lecture together. Frankly speaking, I doubted whether to write such an offering to Vyasa Puja, for it's mainly dedicated to Nitai Chaitanya Maharaj. The question was stuck in my mind, and maybe I must have failed to write anything. However, last night I had a dream. It's a rare occasion when I have such spiritual dreams. In the dream, we were talking with you, and I said something like, Nitai Chaitanya Maharaj would like your recent lecture. I felt that these words touched you. For a moment, I was doubting whether I did right by telling you this, whether the words were appropriate, and what if they upset you. In a few seconds, you said that Nitachitanya Maharaj is now in the spiritual world. Immediately, I felt relieved and happy, and soon I woke up. Today is the last day for sending the offerings, and I'm writing these letters. I want to share one more realization as to regretting of the opportunities lost. This year it was 10th year's anniversary of Purnachandra Maharaj's disappearance. I was fortunate to associate with him, but unfortunately I did not appreciate this opportunity fully. So, in the last years of Purnachandra Maharaja's life, I didn't associate with him because I was busy with various affairs and service. When Maharaja passed away, I regretted it. I'm still regretting that I did not serve him sufficiently intensively. I sometimes try to keep relations with Nitachitanya Maharaj even after I moved to another place. Unfortunately, it so happened that I again regret not associating with him to the full extent. So my firm intent and prayer is to use all opportunities for association with you and serving you. I no longer want to regret. I am eager to become such a disciple as Nitai Chaitanya Maharaj, so that my feelings were can be tested by time, and to keep the brightness of perception and the acuity of feelings, trying to become your servant Sankarsana Nitay does. Now we want to ask Madhya Ratnavati to read her offering.
Hare Krishna, дорогие преданные.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna.
dear devotees. Hare Krishna, dear Guru Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances in the dust of your lotus feet. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Please let me express my gratitude for your service to Srila Prabhupada on the day of your Vyasa. An amazing, very joyous day, very rare day, a very unusual day, the day of one's spiritual master. The day of your Vyasa Puja is a great fortune and a great hope for all of your disciples and, of course, for me. I didn't want this to happen. Again and again, I fall at your feet. Again and again, I search for words of gratitude to offer you on this day. I understand that whatever I may say is not going to be sufficient. Your mercy is so boundless that all my attempts to glorify you are just like a drop in the ocean. Still, however hopeless it may seem, I will try to do it. The year of 2020 was not an easy year. As devotees note in their offering, I would say that it was a year of intense reconsideration and surrender. Of course, it was not one of the easy ones. Nonetheless, it was a very special year. Why? Because there was very intense communication and association with you. When all these events began, there was some anxiety, worrying, but very quickly, due to the meetings in Zoom, such an immersion in Brihad Bhagavatamrita and Krishna Katha that took place, my life turned into a continuous marathon. Days, weeks, months literally flew by, and everything became concentrated and centered around association with human devotees. This association was becoming so intense that sometimes I just did not have time to understand what was the current day of the week and of the month, although I tried very hard. One devotee shared with me a poem that reflected my condition very precisely. Let me quote it. You open your eyes, it's 8. Walk to the store, it's Wednesday. Brew a cup of coffee, it's autumn. Lay down to rest, it's winter. This poem is materialistic, but it precisely reflects the march of time. Everything was literally just like that. I no longer understood what dimension I was in, but amidst all this, there was one eternal affair, the association with my spiritual master and devotee. It was as if Krishna, in the form of time, was saying that everything will pass, that one cannot hold on to anything, that all is just a dream, an illusion, that there is the only eternal reality, spiritual life. And now one must focus on it and only on it. Now I want to thank you very much for gifting me, for gifting me this spiritual life, for conveying and continuing to convey to me the importance of the spiritual life, for helping me to understand the meaning behind all these events, for giving me the shelter, for being compassionate to me, for tolerating me, for not rejecting me, for giving me hope. My humble obeisances to you, for your infinite kindness, for your humility, for your gentleness, for your uh, efforts in spreading the Sankirtana mission despite all difficulties. You always taught me that one should surrender to Krishna at all times, not just in dangerous situations or at the time of initiation. That books and japa are not an occasional affair but are a daily practice, and that this practice should become a lifestyle and not just a show. In one of your lectures during the pandemic, you explained how important it is to pray to Krishna for service at these difficult times. That was what I did. I was asked to give morning Srimad Bhagavatam classes in Aryatra every week. This was quite a task. It is not a problem for me to give a class once or twice every 3 months, or at festivals sometimes, but every week, on some days, it was very difficult. I would have never withstood such a burden of responsibility if not an example. I do it because I cannot and do not want to upset you. You have been teaching about Krishna consciousness for so many years, even though I'm very far from any perfection. Every time when it is especially hard for me, I remember the verse that you always quote, Mukam Karoti Vachalam, and I understand that only by the mercy of my spiritual master I will be able to open my mouth, understand something, and say something. There was not a single day that it was not hard, and there was not a single day that I did not contemplate what my life would have been like if not the mercy of my spiritual master. Every day, Krishna taught me to surrender to the instructions of my spiritual master and to be grateful to you for fighting alongside your disciples. By doing so, you were showing us some example of surrender at difficult times and protecting us from the troubles of this year. Thank you so much for your unparalleled determination and firmness in following the vows that you gave to your spiritual master. Due to your grace, I begin to understand how invaluable Krishna consciousness is, that real faith in Krishna should not be sentimental or fanatical, and that human life is meant for serious things, not for follies. Thank you for your unlimited wisdom and devotion to Srila Prabhupada. We're currently reading Kali's serpent Leela in Aryatra, how Krishna was dancing on his heads, and how Kaliya was purified by it. I thought that this is exactly the way that our spiritual master hammers our dull heads so that we can finally understand who we really are and what we should be doing in order to find real happiness and real, not illusory life. I thank you times and times again for your service to Srila Prabhupada and helping him to bring conditioned fallen souls back home, back to Gandhi. On your way back to the spiritual world, you decided to take us, your disciples, along with you. Please hammer my empty and dull head until I become cleansed of all anarthas, like Kali's serpent did. Please accept my humble obeisances in the dust of your lotus feet. All glories to you and your unique devotion. Your insignificant servant, Ratnavatidevi. Thank you very much, dear devotees. Please forgive me if something is wrong. Thank you, Mataji Ratnavati. And now we ask Vani-krsna Prabhu to give his offering. Krishna-kirti Prabhu will continue to lead this Vyasa Puja.
Меня слышно?
Да, вас слышно.
Спасибо большое. Дорогой Гуру Махарадж,
Dear Guru Maharaj, dear
я
devotees,
себя чувствую как-то
I feel
неловко.
awkward.
Последний
I-
раз, когда
Last time
был на Веса Пуджи,
when I was to
то
Vyasa
я
Puja,
тогда сказал,
I said
сейчас я чувствую, что это чувство даже еще больше возросло.
something that I
Я
felt, and
себя
now I
чувствую
feel this
просто
feeling even
огромной
more
среди
increased. I feel like a
среди
crowd,
преданных,
like an ugly bird among swans,
среди ваших учеников.
among your disciples, Guru Maharaj.
Я сейчас просто буду читать.
I will just read my offering.
Нама Ом Вишну Падая, Кришна Приштая Бхутали, Шримате Ниранджана Свами, Итинамини, Анахата Праесена, Прабхупадаси Туштае, Санкиртана Праврития Атам и Хате Гураве Намаха. Дорогой Гуру Махарадж,
Dear Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to you, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, and to his sincere followers. I was just listening to your lecture on Brihad Bhagavatamrita, where you spoke about Dainya, humility, and Prema being the result of the greatest humility. I am still impressed by this lecture. Still impressed by this lecture. The other day, Nitya-priya, who was also absorbed in writing you a letter on the same topic as I was, asked me about this verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita, Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Shastra Koya. I told her that this verse describes the state that comes due to association with you and with other personalities who, along with you and due to your mercy, give their transcendental association to me. At the same time, I recall the words of Srila Rupa Goswami that even a dog eater who obtains shelter at the feet of a Vaishnava becomes something completely different from a dog eater. As I was listening to you, I thought, what chances do I have? I am not at all like Gopakumar, who was manifesting humility, tolerance, and did not lose the sight of his goal when he was offered something that he was not interested in. When I am in such situations, well, Krishna shows me that I am totally deprived of any sign of knowledge described by him in Bhagavad Gita, modesty, humility, non-violence, but due to your association, listening to your lectures, reading your books, due to my humble attempts to serve your instructions, and because of your thinking about my well-being, because of your care for me, even though I have broken my promises to you so many times. For instance, have not written to you before now, even though I had promised you I would when you came to visit Minsk last. In spite of all this, something very deep and wonderful comes into my dull, useless life because of your presence in it and subsequent presence of Srila Prabhupada. Because of your influence, I started feeling attraction to him, to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, who you like to quote so much in the past few years, to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, whose wise words are almost always on your tongue, and to other personalities who are dear to the Lord and whom you quote or speak about. Thank you for this. I cannot even imagine how much indebted to you I am. This debt is so grand that I even stop noticing or realizing it. Just like in that joke about two fish. One fish says to the other, I heard that there is such a thing as water. The other fish says, I have not heard about it. I don't know. I'm all right anyways. Similarly, a person who lives due to someone's mercy can be totally forgetful of his almost 100% dependence on this mercy. The same thing happens to me. But again, by your mercy, from time to time I get some short drops of enlightenment when I can see things as they are. And this must be this very dainya which I need like oxygen. Guru Maharaj, please forgive me for writing more about myself than about you. During your class in Kazakhstan, you once said that the Vaishnava is completely satisfied because the Lord gives him everything that he needs, and he does not want to use anyone for his own interest. That is why he has no desire for personal gain when he enters relationships with others. Guru Maharaj, I want to be near you. I want to do at least something for you. I want to go wherever you go. Please let me do it in spite of everything. Forever your debtor, whose real wealth is that which I have received from you. I wish so much to truly realize this. Vani-krsna dasi.
Гуру Махарадж, позвольте мне тоже сказать вам пару слов.
Dear Guru Maharaj, please allow me to also Nitya-priya dasi. Please allow me to say a couple of words too. I am very much grateful to you for the lectures that you give now. This is nectar for self-realization. It answers the most subtle questions that we have in our hearts and that are so difficult to understand or even to ask. It is just boundless mystery that we try to understand on our way back to God. And gradually, it is all unfolding before me. I am immeasurably grateful to you for these lectures. I also want to say that now, of course, it is I can't do much for the devotees to care about them, but something I am able to do. At least those devotees who, by your mercy, I can care about, take care. We managed to divide them in few groups, 4 or 5 people in each group, and regularly we read Srimad Bhagavatam with them so that we could give them an opportunity of spiritual support. Please allow me to always repeat your words and give them to devotees. Always feel your always feel dependence on you. Thank you very much
всем преданным, которые
to
организовали
all of the organizers of this festival. It's a spiritual world. Thank you very much.
Спасибо, Нитя-priya Mataji, Vani-krsna Prabhu.
Thanks to Nitya-priya Mataji and Vani-krsna Prabhu. Next
И подготовится Arjuna
will
Sakha.
be Alakananda Prabhu, Alakananda Devi dasi. And next will be Arjuna Sakha Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Anahata praisena prapupadasya tushtaya sankirtana pravrityartham yahate gurave namaha. Dear Niranjana Swami, please accept my
Пожалуйста, примите
Prabhupada. In this auspicious occasion of your Vyasa Puja, I would like to express my gratitude to you for all your care and guidance for all these years with patience teaching me through your books, classes, and disciples. I endlessly grateful for saving me and pulling out from the bottom of this material world and giving me a real life full with joy and chance to understand what is real happiness and get understanding how to become a true servant. I'm very grateful for this opportunity to what I had when I was in Kiev, to see you and to see all your disciples and see the consulate system, which is working so nicely. That's when I realized how fallen I am and how many qualities I have to develop. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity as well. In my current situation, I have more chances to become selfless. Just having twins and by studying your books, maybe one day I will appreciate all opportunities given and will become a true servant. Your kindness and care has no limits. Your personal example inspired and teaching me to focus on my goals. Your example of real true servant, how to serve all devotees and Vaishnavas, and showing the love how to do this. Thank you very much, dear Niranjana Swami, for giving me a holy name and pouring all your mercy, begging for your mercy again and again, your aspiring servant Alakananda Devi Dasi. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Krishna. Thank you very
А
much.
меня было слышно? Меня было слышно, дорогие преданные?
Да, было вас слышно. Хорошо.
Yes, we could hear you. Why? Fine.
Спасибо большое, Матаджи Алакананда.
Thank you very much, Alakananda Mataji. Next, we'll read his offering Arjuna Sakha Prabhu, and Keli-cancala will prepare.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. My dear spiritual master, please accept my respectful obeisances at your lotus feet. All glories to you on your day of your appearance. In Srimad Bhagavatam 1.18.23, there are the following words. O Rishi, who are as powerfully pure as the sun, I shall try to describe to you the transcendental pastimes of Vishnu as far as my knowledge is concerned. As the birds fly in the sky as far as their capacity allows, so do the learned devotees describe the Lord as far as their realization allows. In other words, we can describe the qualities of a spiritual master, great devotees, and ultimately the Lord Himself to the extent that we were able to realize them. This realization of a person begins and continues through listening. This year we had a wonderful opportunity to listen to your inspiring lectures. In one of my past offerings, I thanked you for sharing your taste and inspiring me to read Srimad Bhagavatam. For many months you've been talking about the importance of hearing and internalizing Srimad Bhagavatam. And after that, I started trying to read Srimad Bhagavatam every day with special respect and reverence. Now you are sharing that very taste by teaching us Brihad Bhagavatamrita. For several years you've been talking about various leelas from this transcendental work, and now, by your grace, I try to read Brihad Bhagavatamrita on a regular basis. Also, the way you read and explain the answers of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur from Amrita Vani is so nectarian. All the books and lectures that I listen to are your lectures to your disciples and well-wishers. Your instruction, given in relation to these books, give me the taste to study them. When I read in Brihad Bhagavatamrita that by becoming spiritual teachers who give instructions, the inhabitants of the spiritual world and their representatives remove the obstacles created by attachment to karma and jnana, and in all possible ways inspire disciples to completely devote themselves to the service of Krishna, and that such persons are not bound by the laws of karma, and their efforts never go to waste. I immediately remembered you. You teach us to devote our lives to serving Krishna, overcoming obstacles, and although it sometimes requires a lot of time and effort, you are patiently willing to make effort to help disciples and well wishers. This year turned out to be unusual and more precious than it was going to be, as you often stress when everything is fine, when the Guru is close to you, when you experience no problems at the moment, remembering Krishna may not be that difficult. However, when difficulties come, where does our mind flee? Where is he looking for shelter? For a long time this year, it wasn't possible to attend programs, and it was sometimes not so easy even to meet with devotees. It seemed a good time to concentrate on my inner practice, but this is not easy for a sadhaka who has little taste. Nevertheless, you have always been there in your online lectures, personally supporting my sadhana, paying attention to the essence. Thank you very much for continuing to take care of my consciousness despite any material obstacles. I also wanted to thank you that you always put a special emphasis on the main thing and on the spiritual path, not on the secondary paths. I am working as a teacher at school, give educational courses, but I find I lack the quality. Sometimes I feel discouraged because I cannot overcome my anarthas. Also, I often read and hear that by chanting the holy names, serving devotees, and praying for mercy, one can always hope that Krishna will remove these obstacles, though this is not always such a cheap thing. But when I see your example, your qualities and instruction, a ray of home always lights up in my heart, inspiring me to continue my efforts. It is your example that strengthens my faith in the bhakti process. The way you behave in different circumstances is always inspiring because one can understand that this is something real. Even this unusual year, you continue to lead by example, showing that we need to focus our attention. In one of the Vedic works, the following words are given: a saint person, even in distress, does not lose his noble nature, just as the wood of a camphor tree, enveloped in fire, exudes an even more pleasant smell. Thank you so much for your example. I also wanted to express my gratitude to you for always trying to give us hope that despite any anarthas, obstacles, one can always move towards Krishna. When you shared Rupa Goswami's verse on hope at the beginning of the year, I was very inspired and am trying to say again and again it, for it gives me strength. When I am looking for instructions in the scriptures, the verses that inspire, listen to lecture, I always remember that you are behind them for me, my spiritual master who supports and leads me patiently on the spiritual path. In Chaitanya Charitamrita 2:23-29, there is one more inspiring verse in this regard. Oh my Lord, I do not have any love for you, nor am I qualified for discharging devotional service by chanting and hearing, nor do I possess the mystic power of a Vaishnava knowledge or pious activities, nor do I belong to a very high caste family. On the whole, I do not possess anything. Still, O beloved of the gopis, because you bestow your mercy on the most fallen, I have an unbreakable hope that is constantly in my heart. This hope is always giving me pain. My dear Guru Maharaj, you are the embodiment of this hope for me. Thank you very much for your example. I pray to always follow in your steps. Your unworthy student Arjuna Sakha.
Харе Кришна, дорогой Гуру Махарадж. Пожалуйста.
Keli-cancala, Devi Dasi. Hare Krishna, dear Guru Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances to the dust of your lotus feet. All glories to you. All glories to His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada.
Я хочу выразить благодарность за такую вашу интенсивную
Looking
поддержку.
back at the results of this year, I would like to express my gratitude for your intensive support, care, and protection. You have generously given all this since spring, so generously that we barely had time to digest the mercy. The lockdown reminded me of the Govardhan Hill Leela. Krishna kept it over the inhabitants of Vrindavan for 7 days, protecting them from the forces of nature that Indra had sent. Likewise, you are protecting us from the Adhidayvika in the form of a virus which cut us off from the temples and Namahatas which kept our spirit of devotion going. Thanks to your live broadcast from Mayapur, the intensity of spiritual life is even higher than it was before the lockdown. And just like in that Leela with Krishna, when the Brijabasis could look at Krishna without hindrance, he could look at them also. We can now see you without any restriction. In one of the first meetings on Zoom in March the 30th, you began to name the devotees of everyone you saw on the screen, and it was so unexpected and joyful to hear our names pronounced by you and know that you also see us. It became a great inspiration and hope. Every meeting is an opportunity to receive your merciful glance, taste for listening and chanting. I can also compare your incessant lectures and kirtans with Brihat Mridanga, which is heard simultaneously by people all over the world, no matter where they are. Krishna purifies our hearts by your mercy. He speaks in Srimad Bhagavatam 11:14-16. With the dust of my devotees' lotus feet, I desire to purify the material world which are situated within me. Thus, I always follow the footsteps of my pure devotees, far free from all personal desire, wrapped in thought of my pastimes, peaceful without any feelings of enmity and of equal disposition everywhere. What a wonderful example you've been giving us this whole year, living in seclusion in Mayapur, having a simple life, devoting all your time to serving the mission of Srila Prabhupada. The whole world is going crazy, being locked up inside alone with their own mind, but you go live every day and with a smile open the spiritual world to us, immersing us into the pastimes of Vaikuntha and Kaloka Vrindavana. Bhaktivinoda Thakur in the Jayavadharana writes that Krishna's mercy, Krishna Kripa, does not come directly from the Lord, it comes from his devotees. It just so happens that we have turned away from Krishna, but by his causeless mercy, he likes to hear you. And through such unconscious service, we get the opportunity to connect to Krishna. You tirelessly tell us what Krishna is waiting for. When when we turn our glance to him, vividly describing what his feelings are to each of his parts and parcels. The story of Gopakumar has become another inspiration and hope for us, breaking through with the sapling of the Shraddha in our hearts. Allow us to grasp the flow of your grace more enthusiastically and relentlessly. Follow the instruction no matter what is happening around. Looking forward to always remain under the shadow of your lotus feet. Keli-cancala, Devi Dasi.
Спасибо огромное, Матаджи Keli-cancala и Arjuna Sakha Prabhu. Следующий прочитаю
Next one is Govinda Valabha Devi
приглашение
Dasi.
и еще одно небольшое
Welcome.
объявление от
And a
Govinda.
small
Как говорится,
announcement
Puja, мы
from,
немножко уже затягиваемся по времени.
we are running out of time. We are behind the schedule. So please read just the offering that you've submitted. Please do not add anything to it. Thank you. Mataji Govinda Valabha. Dear Guru Maharaj, please accept my respectful obeisances at your lotus feet. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. I am writing these words and I am glad that among the millions of living beings in this material universe, I had a rare chance, being in this body with intelligence, to take the path of realizing God, realizing myself and His eternal, inseparable particle, the eternal servant of Krishna. It's so amazing and mysterious. I am the smallest atom, a grain of sand in this vast world, yet the Lord did not disdain this grain of sand. He waited for many, many years and thought, maybe in this life she will return to me, or in this one. But we, attracted by the illusory energy of Maya, in the abominable conditions of life, considered all that happiness. What fools we are, and what all merciful and all compassionate the Lord is. Knowing how hard it is for us to break out of this illusion, He Himself comes, in spite of everything, in the form of a spiritual master, gives us knowledge, intelligence, illuminates our way back home, back to Him, to the spiritual world where there are no worries and misfortunes, and where every word is a song. Srila Prabhupada often asked his disciples, why haven't you become pure devotees yet? And only now, after many years of practice, long-known truths become realized. You see the goal more and more clearly, more and more strength appears in an effort to achieve the final goal. Practice becomes more and more enthusiastic and joyful. It is so because it is illuminated by the light of knowledge, because it finds nourishment in your instruction, inspiration in your own spiritual experience. And I want to no longer go, but I want to run to Krishna, and I want to work on my qualities which attract the inhabitants of Vaikuntha. Now a new time is coming, a new era is coming. Maybe it seems so to me, but I have a feeling that as if the whole universe is ready to help to come home as soon as possible to the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna in Goloka Vrindavana. Srila Prabhupada says in his perfect to chapter 25 of the 15th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, only one who has all the virtues can enter the kingdom of the Supreme Lord. Only devotees of the Lord meet this requirement, for the devotees gradually develop all the best qualities. And then Srila Prabhupada lists 26 qualities that a devotee has. These qualities are mentioned in the Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya 2278-18. Reading about these qualities and meditating on them, I involuntarily came to the conclusion that you fully possess all these virtues. Many people have good qualities. They can also be generous, kind, not start quarrels with anyone, modest, meek, even eat no more than is necessary, respect others, have a piety gift. But perhaps one of the qualities is the most important, which you have always talked about in your lectures on respect, is unchallenged devotion to Krishna, to consider Krishna consciousness the highest goal of life. Further in the commentary on verse 25, Srila Prabhupada says that if a devotee avoiding 10 offenses chants the holy name of the Lord, then the outward manifestation of bliss and tears in his eyes will surely appear in the devotee. I wanted to connect this part of the commentary with your japa when you first conducted an online session and started chanting in front of the camera. I chanted with you in unison. I had a dream that I was chanting japa and I woke up from loud chanting, and the whole next day was charged with the spiritual energy of the holy name. And whenever I sat down in front of the screen and began chanting with you, I chanted all 16 rounds easily and at once. There were some fears, but they disappeared. There was confidence, a sense of security as well, a realization that all these material problems are temporary and they will go away. I felt your care with all my heart. Your video japa extended my life, gave me a spiritual boost for many years to come. I am eternally grateful to you. During the most difficult time of lockdown, staying 2 months in the same small apartment with my son and his wife, I felt completely protected, completely relying on your mercy. There was a great desire to hear more and serve better. This lockdown saved me. During the entire time of my quarantine, I managed to hear the entire Srimad Bhagavatam, sew several outfits for Boston, Cologne, and Paris deities, not miss a single online session of yours. Lockdown turned my consciousness upside down. It changed my life. It tempered me. It brought me closer to your lotus feet, to Krishna. All glories to lockdown and nectar of lockdown, which I am now distributing throughout Europe. All glories to Krishna. All glories to your lotus feet and your selfless deeds in the name of Srila Prabhupada. All glory to your great compassion. Thanks to your devotion to Srila Prabhupada and Krishna, you have received so much extra special mercy that it is enough for all listeners and viewers of your online channel. Thanks to your initiative, I am sure that many of them got second wind, their wings straightened, confidence and full awareness that we are loved, we are waited for, we are wanted to be seen as soon as possible in the spiritual world, and for your sake, for your safeless feet, we will try very hard, very much. At least I promise you that. Your eternal disciple, Govinda Valabha Devi Dasi.
Hare Krishna. Спасибо огромное, Говинда Валабха Прабhu.
Thank you to Govinda Valabha Devi Dasi.
Следующий прочитает свое подношение Вамана
And
Прабhu.
next is Vamana Prabhu.
И please, Mataji Gaura Gopika, be prepared. You will be next.
Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishaya Bhutale Shrimati Niranjana Swami Nityanamaya Anahata Prayasena Prabhupada Tushtaya Sankirtana Pravriti Arham Hate Guru Namaha. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, dear Guru Maharaja, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. I am feeling so ashamed that I have been your disciple for more than... I'd like to express my gratitude to those devotees who organized and arranged this Vyasa Puja. Please accept my humble obeisances. I am feeling so ashamed that I have been your disciple for more than 20 years and I have never written an offering to you. Only now Satya Mataji got to my conscience. She was reminding me that I have to write an offering. She called me and told me that I should write it. So it got to my consciousness and made me moving. So she have written what I am that I should write, and I wasn't even ashamed when she asked me to. What I felt was gratitude. I was sincerely feeling some care that comes from her, and I realized that this care it comes through her from you to me. And it was your care, your concern that deeply touches me always. I often feel that the mercy, your support given to me, if not for your mercy, I don't know where I would be now. I also would like to say that thanks to your japa sessions, I feel closer, somehow closer at the festivals. I have never felt that, though I was beside you. But during these japa sessions, they made you so close. That is why, please accept my gratitude for your service to your disciples and Srila Prabhupada. That was a short offering because it is hard for me to say something, to express my feelings. That is why please accept my humble obeisances, your servant Vamana Dasa.
Hare Krishna. Спасибо большое, Вамана Прабhu.
Thank you, Vamana Prabhu.
Mataji Gaura Gopika, please.
Dear Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to you, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. As I write this offering, we celebrate the disappearance day of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati Thakur. In your class about Bhaktisiddhanta Sarasvati, you spoke of dualities and how due to their influence, one creates a reality which has no existence beyond one's imagination. Immersed in the daydream, we absorb ourselves in things we would like to have and things we would like to avoid. The solution, you said, is to see everything connected to Krishna and thus become free from fear. It made me reflect on 2020 and how many lessons it brought. But particularly this one seems relevant to me. I'm embarrassed to admit that I continue to fail at it, and I must apologize for this. But I have hope because you and the devotees are there to encourage and guide me to the bright future that awaits us all, provided that we remain in the vote of Krishna consciousness and continue to earnestly practice. Your offering to Srila Prabhupada in his disappearance day of 2020 deeply touched me. Even more so because I'm reading this section of the Bhagavatam about King Puranjana, and these purports now gain deeper relevance and meaning thanks to the realizations that you shared in that class. One of the points that stood out for me was when you mentioned about Prabhupada's deep personal approach to his disciples. He was always grateful. He was always grateful for any small service performed, to the point of shedding tears. Such was his love and desire to give his disciples all that he could ever give them. So that they can go home back to Godhead in this very lifetime. I see that in you, Guru Maharaj, as you are ever grateful for any small efforts we may display, and how generously you give yourself to us out of real concern for our ultimate spiritual well-being. Quoting from the mentioned section of Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th Canto, you read the following excerpt from Srila Prabhupada's purports. It's chapter 28, verses 50 and 51. Quote, a devoted disciple of the spiritual master would rather die with the spiritual master than to fail to execute the spiritual master's mission. It is the duty of the disciples to take charge of the mission of the spiritual master and execute it properly. To execute the will of the spiritual master, the disciple should be prepared to lay down his life and abandon all personal considerations. And from 51, when one becomes serious to follow the mission of the spiritual master, his resolution is tantamount to seeing the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This means meeting the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the instruction of the spiritual master. You are exemplary in fulfilling Srila Prabhupada's instructions, and your utmost seriousness in doing so commands the same seriousness in us, calls us to do our best to please the Lord, obtain his mercy, and go back to Godhead in this lifetime. It is certainly a tall order, but you give us hope of success. For your example is like a rope to hold on to as we endeavor to live up to this instruction. Particularly in this class, I got the sense that for you, reading and hearing from Srila Prabhupada is not simply a duty or an intellectual exercise, neither the desire to casually associate with Prabhupada. It is actually something that maintains your life, just like air or food maintains the body. It is how Prabhupada lives with you. I truly admire this and also feel so inspired about. He gives me a reference point or sets the bar, however high it may seem now, for how to approach my daily hearing. You live the instructions you hear, you remember them, and you act on them in service to Srila Prabhupada. And that dedication alone is the proof of your love. But as you shed heartfelt tears of separation from your beloved spiritual master. I feel that I don't even scratch the surface of your heart. It seems that a deep ocean lies hidden from my eyes, a depth of Krishna consciousness that I am far from experiencing, but that your example shows me to be real. And this makes me want to give more of myself to sadhana, to the devotees, to service. I feel humbled and grateful to have been given shelter at your lotus feet. In all your relationships, you are open, present, and deeply connected to others because you are deeply rooted in your relationship with Srila Prabhupada. Due to my conditioning and false ego, I see more and more how far I am from truly taking advantage of what you so selflessly offer me, your personalism, your love, your intense eagerness to uplift us. I truly long to change this, Guru Maharaj, and I pray to you for help because I know that you are my best friend and well-wisher in this world. And I want to reciprocate with you in full trust, openness, and sincerity. Dear Guru Maharaj, I thank you for your example of absolute dedication to instruction and mission of Srila Prabhupada. I long to imbibe, remember, and act on your instructions and example, always keeping the goal of pure devotional service in front. I beg you to keep me at the lotus feet of your devotees, learning from and attempting to please them. I especially thank you for your patience with me and beg you to continue to accept and nourish me with transcendental knowledge and this mood that you carry in your heart and that I barely fathom, this unconditional love and surrender to Srila Prabhupada and Lord Chaitanya, your insignificant servant, Gaura Gopika Devi Dasi. I'm so sorry for, I'm like Anandini, worse than Anandini, much worse. I'm always crying in front of you. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Спасибо большое. Thank you very much, Mataji Gaura Gopika. Thank you very much. Итак, следующий прочитает Зотов.
Next, his offering will read Vsevolod and Prima Manjari will prepare.
Включайте микрофоны. Hare Krishna.
Dear Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances in the dust of your lotus feet. All glory to Srila Prabhupada. All glory is to your divine grace. Thinking about the auspicious day of your Vyasa Puja, I realized that every year, this year for me marks the end of the old year and the beginning of a new one. I have found that I look at my life as series of intervals between the days of your Vyasa Puja. Sometimes when I need to remember any year, I have to remember where and how your Vyasa Puja took place at the beginning of that year. And after that, I can remember the events of that year. And it is after your Vyasa Puja that a new year begins for me as your aspiring disciple. I remember how during your last Vyasa Puja in Kiev, you read the entry from your godbrother Shivarama Swami's blog about celebrating the new year. In this article, he talked about how stupid it is to celebrate the fact that we're one more year closer to death. On the other hand, if during the past year you have done something that gives eternal spiritual fruit, then Happy New Year. Because then there is actually a reason to celebrate and expect happiness next year. On the day of your Vyasa Puja, I think about two things. That first, another year has passed full of opportunities to surrender to Krishna, and that I did not take full advantage of those opportunities. And second, and that another year full of opportunities for service is coming, and Krishna continues to wait for me to finally turn to him. As Lord said, As the Lord said to Gopakumara, for so long, I, like a fool, have been dancing to the tune of hope, dreaming, well, maybe in this life, or in this, or in this, or in the next, he will finally turn his face to me. When celebrating the new year, people do not know what will happen, and they simply hope that the new year will bring them some kind of happiness. But every time on the day of your Vyasa Puja, I understand that if I simply sincerely continue in my attempts to follow you, then I have a very bright future, guaranteed. Every time on your Vyasa Puja day, I see my elder God brothers and God sisters, your senior disciples. I see their exalted qualities and the depths of their Krishna consciousness, and I understand that spiritual progress is the natural development of a devotee who remains in ISKCON and follows instructions of his elders. I listen to them talk about how your mercy has changed and continues to change their lives. And I understand that if I simply keep following you on this fascinating journey of Gopakumara, then you will certainly bring me to the higher goal. People celebrate the new year simultaneously with hope of happiness and fear of the unknown. And this year clearly showed the whole year what a happy new year can be. But for us, this year has shown even more clearly how important and how ecstatic it is to fall before your lotus feet, that you are actually a well wisher of everyone, and that you have a perfect understanding of what is one's real interest, and that you are always ready and eager to give us the most important thing, the pure holy name and pure devotional service. This year has given me something that I could not even dream of. Looking back, I understand how much my consciousness has changed this year. These changes are so strong that I still find it hard to believe, and there are no external results or worldly explanations to them. I understand that there is no reason to them other than your causeless mercy. Externally, my life has not changed this year. The only thing that has been added this year is the opportunity to listen to your lectures several times a week and chant japa with you. The opportunity to chant the holy name with you is an amazing experience that most of us could not even dream of, because even while chanting japa in the same room, in the same temple room with you once a year at the festival, almost none of us could hardly hear you. And this year, despite a huge physical distance, you have always been and continue to be close to each of us. With each of your lectures and japa sessions, I feel how I am filled with Krishna consciousness and how your mood and your inspiration enter my heart. During the first 2 months, April, May, I was able to be online with you for 6 times a week. When online japa sessions just started, I thought it was like Govardhan Leela. There was a natural disaster around, but for the Brijabasis, it was the happiest time. They were with Krishna 24 hours a day for the 7 days continuously. They did not even want to come out from under the hill after the rainfall ended. It seemed that this analogy has come to minds of many devotees. Shyamakun Prabhu wrote about it in his realizations. Just like the Brijabasis, for us, it was an amazing opportunity to be with you so often and to receive so much of your mercy. To be honest, I am also happy that the situation is such that you have been staying in Manipur for several months, because as a result of this, you have an opportunity to restore your body, which you have been continuously sacrificing for so many years out of your love for Srila Prabhupada and devotees. Dear Guru Maharaj, I am very grateful to you for always speaking only about the most important thing, for your practical instructions, for your care for every one of us, for being always ready to eager to give us the most important and most valuable thing, for showing perfect example. You showed us how a sadhu reacts to worldly troubles. You showed us the consciousness in which to meet any event. You showed the only peace to take shelter of. You showed us what it means to be a true well wisher. You showed us what it means to love devotees. You showed that you were willing to take care of the devotees over and over again, sacrificing the health of your body. You eternally showed us that true fearlessness is based on transcendental knowledge. You showed us how to find answers to any question in Srila Prabhupada's books. You showed us what it means to trust Krishna completely and have firm faith in Him. You showed us you keep showing us again and again that your constant and continuous efforts are directed towards spreading the Sankirtan mission for the satisfaction of Srila Prabhupada, and nothing in this world can stop this. Therefore, I offer my respectful obeisances to you over and over again, dear Guru Maharaj. And I ask you to continue to generously bestow the nectar of your mercy, which will lead all of us to the highest goal and the final destination, to the special place for the most perfect relationship with Krishna, where spontaneous love for Him is manifested in the highest way, and where Krishna has been waiting for us for such a long time. Your servant and inspired disciple, Bhakti Vsevolod. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to your divine grace. I know that I will not cry for sure because I have a very happy, funny letter. Wandering the material world, a living being constantly tries on various roles, gets disappointed, tries on again and again, becomes disappointed, and so it happens endlessly, life after life. The soul, searching for happiness, tries new forms, new tastes, new surroundings, and so on. But for some reason, happiness never comes. At some point, she, tired, completely disappointed, and beaten, sincerely cries out to God, and the Lord comes. He comes as Guru. When Krishna wants to help the soul, this is exactly what he does. This is his transcendental way of revealing himself to the continuing soul. By Krishna's mercy, we get a Guru. This is a blessing, causeless mercy, an invaluable gift. It is not difficult to become attached to such a person because the Guru shows such qualities that you only hear or dream about, but never saw. And when you are near, I understand. I got lucky. I still don't even understand what this fortune is. I just feel happiness. I just understand that the best thing that could happen in my life has already happened. What do I do with this happiness? I do not know. But the Guru knows. Guru gives knowledge about who you are, where to go, and what to do so that this happiness does not go anywhere and remains with you forever. The Guru gives the mantra, explains how to chant it, how to serve in the association of devotees. In this way, the soul attains real eternal happiness, practicing pure devotional service to Krishna. You have already given all this to me. I am so grateful to you, dear Guru Maharaj. Here you go. The perfection of life has been achieved. I have everything. It turned out not. It is not enough for a stupid child that his parents give him everything he needs for life. He needs an example. You need to see what a mature person does with these vital things. I can see, Guru Maharaj, how you chant the holy name, how you serve your spiritual master, how you read the Shastra, how you make friends with your brothers, how you associate with various devotees and take care of them, and much more. I see your whole life. It's open. You are not hiding anything from us. Therefore, it is not difficult to see that you are a perfect example of a Vaishnava, devotee of Lord Krishna. I have an example of what he talks about and how he expresses his thoughts, how he sits and how he walks. This too you have already given to me, and you are continuing to give. I am so grateful to you. That seems to be it. It's enough. You gave me everything. Is it possible to give something else? There seems to be nothing more to give. But no, you are so generous that you don't stop. You give me even more. You give me confidence that I can achieve the goal that you gave me. You constantly support me so that I am not disappointed in my strength and in Krishna's mercy. I always know that even if the whole world turns away from me, you will never leave me. You are so kind. You tolerate all my mistakes and never judge me. Where did you get so much compassion? You are so far away, but always there. How is it always near? How is this possible? You always talk to me through lectures, through devotees, sometimes encouraging, sometimes scolding, but always inspiring, always to the point. How do you do it? In the midst of Kali Yuga, you are always Krishna conscious. It's incredible. And now I have a messenger of spiritual reality. There are all the necessary tools to be in this reality. There is an example of how to live in order to become fit for this reality. And I understand that if you use everything correctly, then undoubtedly I will find, if I use everything correctly, then undoubtedly I will find myself in that very reality. I am incredibly lucky. There is nothing more valuable in this world. Sometimes I misuse it. How could such a jewel fall into my hands? Sometimes I misuse it. Guru Maharaj, thank you so much for taking me on this fantastic journey. Thank you for explaining everything in great detail along the way. Thank you for always keeping your focus on the purpose of this journey and not letting it to be forgotten. Thank you for correcting me. You are so patient. Thank you for being so open. Thank you for sharing your inspiration, fueling my enthusiasm when I don't have the strength to go on. Thank you for distributing all the treasures that Srila Prabhupada has given you. You are so generous. Thank you for trusting to do something along the way, despite the lack of qualification. Thank you for this trust. I am so grateful to you for all this and much more. Please bless me so that I will cause less trouble for you and the Vaishnavas on this path. May the desire to serve finally manifest in my heart. May the time come that you will not be ashamed to offer this soul to Krishna, your servant who is still aspiring to begin serving you, Lakshmi Priya Devi Dasi.
Харе Кришна. Спасибо большое, Матаджи Лакшмиприя и Всеволод. Мы движемся дальше, мы хорошо очень...
We continue with our schedule. Thank you very much, dear devotees, for your patient hearing. Now,
Према Манджари.
Prema Manjari, Mataji will read her offering, and Yasoda-priya will prepare. Hare Krishna, dear Guru Maharaj. I read an offering, but in that offering, all the things that Mataji Krsna-kund said and Mataji Ratnavatidevi said about the value of association with you and the opportunities that this lockdown gives us. Everything that they already said about, and it was such a concentrated happiness to hear from you and all other. And because I don't want to repeat myself after devotees, I want to ask my husband to speak. Please forgive me.
Hare Krishna, дорогой Гуру Махарадж.
Hare Krishna, dear Guru Maharaj. My wife is a real servant of Srimati Radharani, wants to push someone in front of her. I will just read my offering to you. Unfortunately, I didn't have paper. Please accept my humble obeisances in the dust of your lotus feet. Recently, I had a story happen to me that
as I was passing by one house, I heard a desperate cry, and we were surprised. What is the story? What is this bird doing there? And I see that there is some parrot, and behind there is a very big raven, big black raven. I was in a critical situation. A few minutes and it will be reached. Prabhu, there are some very serious issues with the sound. Maybe you have a chance to do something with your sound. There is no possibility. Can I speak? It seems as if there is volume out loud. Maybe you can a little bit sit far from the screen. I quickly understood that now a difficult situation will happen, and I was able to go and fight there. The raven was not expecting for interference, and all of them were very unhappy with my intervention. I decided to catch that parrot, and when running to it, I was able to catch it, but the parrot understood that now he will be caught by a bigger man than raven, and then it just was flying in another way to look for another shelter, and I had to run after that green parrot for another some meters, and now I could happily take him in my hand, but the parrot was not surrendering. He was trying to get out of my hand, and this one bit me so much that I didn't expect to be bitten that well. And I had to keep his beak together so as he doesn't bite me anymore. I decided to take it to work because I didn't want it to be left for ravens to eat. So I just took him to my work, but then this parrot was a little bit came to terms with that situation, and in the end everything went well for it. At work there was an employee who just wanted to get another parrot because his first parrot was very much alone, and he was mourning his friend, and that thus saved he got a new surrender, a new friend, and a new eating schedule. And right after that event, I opened Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, and continued reading stories where Brahma says to Yadu how he was studying from different gurus. And at that moment, I understood what I can be taught by that story that just happened to me. And it already became revealed to me how Krishna saves conditioned soul by sending at some point his pure servant in his direction. And now these crows and ravens, these are the three modes of material nature. They're chasing the living entity all over the material universe. And when that out of breath take a toll, and then they are eaten. And it happens over and over and over in samsara. As in Bhagavad Gita, it is said all planets of material wealth from higher to lower, from upper to lower, is the whirlpool of suffering where everyone has to take birth and to die. But once the Lord mercifully takes this person out of this worthless pit, and then the Lord sees when the living entity is looking for shelter, then the Lord tries to save him, given transcendental knowledge and the necessary instructions. But out of ignorance, someone is thinking, is that a salvation? No, it's just another obstacles. And the person turns away and goes somewhere else looking for shelter again. But devotee, being compassionate and merciful, understands very well that crows are not sleeping, and crows will be behind them, and they take such living entity in its clutches. Guru gives shelter in its instructions. It's like initiation. The Guru gives shelter and he makes the person feel warmer. But a stubborn disciple tries to find happiness somewhere else and causes pain to his spiritual master, refusing to follow his instructions and committing some offenses. But the spiritual master is merciful, and if this silly disciple doesn't persist in his attempts to get out of embrace of spiritual master, becomes humble, he once will be taken to a place where he will have a life without any worries. That's what is said. That's how 11th canto of Bhagavatam gave me this small revelation, and this story described my life. I saw myself as that living entity, and then in the role of a silly disciple, and then I saw your compassion to the fallen soul. Your ardent desire to serve Srila Prabhupada in his mission, and your patience and compassion gives an opportunity to so many conditioned souls to find shelter at the Lord's lotus feet. Remembering your soft heart, I remember the verse from Bhagavad Gita where Krishna says about such compassionate people. In this world, there are no and there never will be a servant dearer than him. Your humble servant, Ojasvi.
Hare Krishna. Спасибо.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much. Madhya Prem Manjari and Ojasvi. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Now we will hear also Yasoda-priya Mataji, and then we will have a break for Guru Katha. Devotees, please stay tuned. Yesterday, Abhinanda Prabhu was the leader of this Katha. Then Guru Maharaj will have some rest. We will make a short break for him. And after Guru Katha, we will go on with offerings. And we will start our offerings with Jatila, Vrajakishore, etc. And now Yasoda-priya Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Дорогой Гуру Махарадж,
Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. O glorious to Srila Prabhupada, this auspicious day of your appearance, let me express words of gratitude to you. Guru Maharaj, thank you for the fact that by your instructions, you always encourage us to dive deeper and not to be attracted by external superficial things. Thank you for giving shelter in Krishna Katha, in holy name, in your impeccable behavior and qualities. Thank you for your example of being attached to Srila Prabhupada. I am immensely grateful for so many japa sessions and Brihad Bhagavatamrita classes during the pandemic. Thank you for Gopal Kumara's story that so expertly shows us that the Lord is situated in our heart. He knows everything that is happening with us and is always ready to offer His help. The Lord is waiting for us to remember Him, to turn our faces to Him. When one begins serving the Lord always reciprocates. And when one feels that, he becomes happy and is no longer lonely. Thank you, Guru Maharaj, for every lecture full of care, support, and inspiration. And for your prayers for us. I am praying to be useful to you, your servant, Yasoda-priya Devi Dasi.
Харе Кришна, спасибо большое, Матаджи Ясода-priya. Тогда здесь мы с вами сделаем перерыв для Гуру Махараджа.
Now we will have a break for Guru Maharaj, but we will continue with Guru Katha, and Abhinanda Prabhu will lead this Guru Katha. It will last half an hour as our schedule first said. So please listen to the